Hi guys, my name's Doug. Welcome to my messy garage. Back when I first started my YouTube channel, I think it was about the fourth video that I made, I did a video mounting the transducer to the back end of my 2011 Sea-Doo. This video has done phenomenal for my channel, but quite honestly, it wasn't a very good video. So what I'm going to do in today's video is go back, re-edit it, clean it up a little bit, make it a bit more useful for you guys to follow along, and hopefully it does as well or better than the original. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Appreciate you watching the video. In the last video, we mounted the boarding step. We didn't put the sealant on it. And the reason we didn't do that is because we're going to be removing the right-hand side and mounting the transducer. This is the Garmin EchoMap transducer. And my plan, at least at this point, is to make an aluminum bracket that will put it approximately there at whatever height is required. We'll run the cable back up inside and route it up to the front where it will connect up to the chart plotter. Here we have a template that came with the chart plotter and transducer. First step we need to do is trim off the bottom. And according to the little diagram, it says that this bottom corner should be even with the bottom of the hull. So that is approximately where we are going to place the template. This distance here, although it says to trim it off, I want to have some room to bring the bracket out, bend it, come back a little bit so that it clears the shape of the hull and then bends out flat again. So the first thing we need to do is tape this to the hull and get a few measurements to figure out exactly where this thing has to go in relation to the step. Hi guys, this is Future Doug. Just a quick note here. Back when I originally cut this part out, I was doing it on my CNC router, and it uses millimeters as a base measurement. I realize not everybody's comfortable with the metric system, but hopefully you can follow along and it makes sense. Coming across, the width of the bracket is 70 millimeters. Height, 83. Now we need some tape. Put that on. Figure out how far the bracket is going to need to drop to provide the optimal position for the transducer. We need to measure down from the top, 35 millimeters. Now we need to measure from the bottom down 25 millimeters. And now we need to decide how far back we want the bracket to come. I'm going to be building this out of 3.5 mil aluminum. Honestly, it's 1/8 inch aluminum. I have 6061 T6, and so we're probably going to come back, let's call it 20 millimeters. So this will be 20, and now we need to decide the width of our transducer, and it is 65, and the height is set off this, just under 60. This is 75. So essentially we're going to have our box here, step down, and then another tab. And we're bent something like this, and the angle of the leg will be set depending on the final position that we need for the transducer. Here's a picture of the final layout that I came up with. I've changed the 83 to 85 millimeters just so the math worked out better. Hopefully this is something that you can reproduce if you decide you want to build one of these brackets for yourself. Originally I cut this piece out using my CNC router setup that I have in my garage, and of course somebody called me out on it. Not everybody has a CNC router in their garage, and that is a legitimate comment. While I used the tools that I have available to make this bracket, you don't have to. Basically, any conventional benchtop wood cutting bandsaw with a decent blade on it will cut aluminum, absolutely no problem. Failing that, you could use a angle grinder or a handheld hacksaw. Anything that you can use to cut metal will definitely cut this out. That's why I've gone into a little bit more detail with the layout of the part. The little clip that I have here shows cutting out a bracket on my bandsaw, not specifically a Sea-Doo transducer bracket, but it is
the same idea.
Hi guys, we're back at the Sea-Doo. Bracket made. We'll go behind here, and first step is we need to pull the screws out of the bracket. There's the piece. Now we need the transfer punch. Since we've got such a heavy-duty spring loading on this, I think probably we'll take the whole bracket off. How this bracket lines up with the front surface of the mounting bracket is what's critical. How it fits to the hull, I don't think there's any major issues there. So we'll just take the whole thing off and work on it on the ground. Let's drill those two holes. Now I'm going to start with a smaller hole than what we need, just so that we get a nice clean pilot hole. So we got the holes dressed out a little bit. We got the holes drilled in the bracket and ready for some sealant. A little in the hole and around the hole. We don't want too much squeezing out. Now let's reattach the step. There we go. Now we need to mount that. The idea being that we want that to land in relatively undisturbed water. We'll put this piece of ruler in behind here, just so that it doesn't stab into the hull. These whole quick deburring, and the M4 bolt goes in there just nice. So we're going to mount this with a nylock nut, stainless, and a stainless bolt washer. We've got a ratcheting screwdriver, the right size wrench, both of those are good and snug. There we go, good and stable. And other than the boarding step, we didn't have to drill any holes in the hull. Quite happy with how that turned out.
Routing the cable through the back of the hull is going to be complicated enough of a challenge. I think it'll be a good video all on its own. The machine's in winter storage right now, but when I pull it out of storage, I'll be sure to shoot a video routing the cable properly and share it with you guys on the channel here. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've gotten this far in the video, can you throw me a like? Hit that thumb up button, and hey, if you want to see more content from me, why don't you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell icon so that you get notified when I post new content. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you in the next mess.